Hello, my great channel patrons. The time has finally arrived, the rebirth of my old garage into a new one. Not to give excuses or anything for my lack of content over the past few months, but I have 3 videos that are in progress on the bus, but I can't finish any of them until I have a working garage again. If you didn't watch my previous video where I gutted out my garage to use it as a temporary automotive paint booth, I will recap what I'm about to do. I have 2 buildings basically bolted together. The rear structure is a workshop that I built about 12 years ago on a proper slab foundation. And then the front building is over 100 years old. It was built on the ground as an old carriage house, and it's in pretty bad shape. So what kind of garage am I building? Well, thank you for asking. I'm building a jumbo single-car garage that is designed for a large truck or an RV. It's 30 feet deep by 18 feet wide with a tall 12-foot sidewall. I plan to eventually install a 4-post lift to use it for stacking 2 cars like you can see on the picture, which will also double as a lift for car repair as well. So why not build a wide 2-car garage? Well, as you can see by this aerial shot, I have a very narrow lot line. It's only about 60 feet wide, and with the existing structures on it, I simply couldn't go wider, so I decided instead to go deeper and taller. Now this drawing of the front elevation shows the difference in size between the current garage on the left and the new one on the right. There's almost a 5-foot increase at the roof peak with that new 12-foot sidewall. I also changed my mind about the door setup, and I'll be going with just a centered, wide 12-foot overhead door with no service door. From the top elevation, you can see that the new structure will push 10 feet into the driveway, making it closer to the house. This also means I have some follow-up asphalt rework to look forward to. Now, I hired a general contractor to do the majority of the work, but because of how cheap I am, I have elected to save some money and do some of the tasks myself. The first of these tasks for me is to prep the garage for demolition and to protect the rear workshop and its contents from damage. So to start, I finished cleaning out all the junk in the garage, mostly stuff in the rafters. As you can see, I have a large pile of junk outside here. And then I decommissioned and removed the 60 amp service panel that I had and all the electrical system that was in the garage. After that, I removed the garage door opener, and then I detensioned and removed the lift spring. And then finally, I had to do some framing to the front of the workshop wall that opened up into the old garage. After I framed that out, I sheathed the framing and below the header, the doorway opening there with some OSB so that my car and all the tools inside of the workshop would be safe during the demolition and construction of the new structure. Well, as you can see, the demolition is done, and the workshop held up pretty well. I'm glad I did that framing because, as you can see in the time lapse of that demo, there was quite a bit of stress as they were demoing, I'm sure, on the workshop, even though what you didn't see probably was the team inside of there cutting away some of the connections between the workshop and the garage before the demo. That was done, but yet there was probably still a little bit of stress. And you can see here my conduit with my power is just kind of coming out of the ground. and they've removed all of the previous thin scabbing. It wasn't really it wasn't a foundation, but it was just kind of the scabbing of the garage floor. That concrete's all been removed too, so now we just have a big dirt pile. So I've already chased 2 different animals, a squirrel and a cat, out of the workshop here. They were using it as a free Airbnb, and then I put up that 4 mil plastic, so that'll hopefully protect it from the weather. The next step in this process is obviously the foundation. So that comes next week, and they're going to have to cut into the driveway about 10 feet, take that out, and then of course dig, put down the substrate, the form framing, the rebar, all that stuff has to be done. But then they've got to do 2 inspections. We do a pre-pour inspection, and then they deliver the concrete, pour it, finish it, and then a post-pour foundation inspection. So there's a lot to do there just to get that slab put in and ready to go before we can actually build. So that's coming up next week. The next part of this, I'll probably just save and do all of the build, including the foundation and all that, as one video, the foundation and framing, because again, I'm not doing it, so I'm not gonna, it's basically just gonna be some time lapse and a little bit of commentary, but that's about it. So that's coming up, and looking forward to it. Subscribe to follow along in this project as well, and we'll see you on the next one.